Hey guys, what's up? So, starting with my first video for 2025. This is going to be a video for the technology grads or beginners who want to understand how an interaction happens between a user and a Linux operating system via a screen. Uh, I am going to create a series for Linux, let's say 5 videos where the type of commands, I'll include some shell scripts as well, everything within those 4 to 5 videos. Mostly the target audience is going to be grads or freshers or beginners or whoever who wants to learn Linux. Right, so let's directly jump into it. And I'm sharing my screen, I guess, hopefully. So I'll just, if you are able to see my screen, right, you would see as I'm highlighting some names here. Let's just call these are directories. Not all of them are, but let's just assume these are directories. Just like we see folders on our Windows or Mac OS, right? So yeah. So what are these? So first of all, these are like very important part of the file system architecture that make sure how the Linux operating system, the kernel will work, interact between the hardware and what we are going to type or what we are going to pass as commands or programs. Okay, so the first that I'm going to highlight here is the bean. So bean is nothing but it has executables that are needed to perform any operation. So for example, I am typing here, if you see ls, so it will again give some output. It is nothing but a binary executable that is part of bean. So any basically any command should be most of the time part of bean. Then we have a directory called boot. Okay, so it contains the files that are needed to boot the system. If your operating system is shut down or you want to restart it, there are some files that are present in the boot directory. Then we have, where is dev? Do we see? Yeah, so just below boot, right, we have dev. So here we have virtual devices or the hardware basically that we can see via dev. Then we have etc somewhere. Okay, yeah, etc is here. So this contains the configuration file, system wide configuration file, that is much necessary to understand how what type of softwares are installed. Or so a very simple example would be it contains the information about the type of file systems that are mounted on the hardware or on this Linux system. Then it also contains the sensitive information like passwords of multiple users as well. Then we see lib, right? Okay, so lib contains shared libraries that are at times needed by the executables which are present under bean. Okay, then do we see media? Yeah, so media is nothing but whenever we have USB drives, hard drives, then we have CD or DVDs that we externally connect. You would see those are connected, or those immediately get shown under this media. Then do we see opt somewhere? Yeah, opt here, opt is here. Opt is nothing but where we installed a third party software like a Google Chrome, that will immediately go under opt. Then do we have root? Yeah, so just like we have our home directories on Windows or Mac, under Linux as well. Every user, so root is a user who is like a super admin user. It will have its own home directory, so which is nothing but root. Then let me see what else we have. So USR is similar to bean, but again it does not necessarily bin, as well as I guess we have another one, right? Okay, so it will not have executables that are needed, absolutely needed for booting the system. Okay, Then whatever logs or spool files, etc., right, those are present under var. Okay, so I'm highlighting this var. So we have var as well. Then let me see. At times there are temporary files getting generated whenever you are doing some operation. You are even you are typing commands. Something always gets stored, and it usually gets stored under tmp. We should have it. Yeah, it's in green, right? I am highlighting now. Okay, so it's under tmp or temp folder. As soon as you reboot the OS, those files usually get deleted. So yeah, this is a sort of small architecture, file system architecture for Linux. Now let's directly jump into some basic commands. Uh, yeah, so let's start with a very basic command to figure out which are the files present under the path that you are in right now. So I'll do ls. So it shows me 4 files. One is test.txt, then something in blue. Again, 2 files with white as foreground color. So with these commands, right, we can pass some optional attributes uh, to have more detailed information about what they actually are. So I'll pass ls-l. So it will give me a long format for what type of files these are. So if you see, this is in blue, right? Which so this is nothing but a directory. At the start, we can see D. So here we have few columns, and the important ones are the first column, which you see rwrr. This is nothing but the permission on the file, whether you or someone else or the super admin, whoever it is, can read, write, or execute that file. Then who is the owner? In this, this is the third column, who is the owner. Then you have what group that owner is part of. Then you will see file size and the timestamp when the file was last updated or created. Okay, so this was ls-l. Okay, and if you want to add more parameters or attributes to it, so let's say just to check file size. So this file size is in blocks. So I want to make it more human readable. Let's say I want to see it in megabytes. So what I'll do is ls-l, then block size is equal to m. Okay, now you see, right? So yeah, it's 0 MB, 1 MB, 1 MB, 0 MB. Now we want to figure out or sort these files by time. Then I'll pass along with L as T. So this is the file that was created very like the very first file, which is at 11:37, and then based on the time 6:24, 6:22. And if I just want to sort them recursively, so yeah, 6:22, 6:22, 6:24, 11:37, like that way. Yeah. Now, so this is about ls. Now, if we want to navigate inside this directory, which is shell scripting A to Z, I'll just do a cd command, change directory, and we are in the directory. Okay. If we want to come back to home directory, you just type cd space enter. You want to go back again, cd shell script, you are into the directory. And okay, so we have another directory within it. So this is cd files to play. What are the files inside files to play? Okay, some test files that I had created earlier, we can use to learn and perform some operations on it. Okay, so now let's understand how to create a 0 byte file in Linux. So we'll use touch command, test1.txt hyphen lrt. Yeah, so you see 0 byte file test1.txt is created. If you want to create a 0 byte file, with the naming convention. Let's say the name has spaces or some characters in between, special characters. So I'll do it touch within single quotes test space test dot txt. Let's see if it is created. Yeah, it is created. Now, if you want to remove it, right? There is another way. I'll show. Touch test. Then let's just escape test. I think this should work. Okay, I think it is already there. That's why it got. Okay, so first we'll remove the file. So how do you remove it? Using rm command test.txt. Okay, so let's try to create without using single quote again. Touch. I'll just test dot txt. Okay, dollar test is created. Fine. So this covers so far ls, touch. Then I showed you about cd, and I also showed you how to create a 0 byte file. You can create multiple files too. Just pass the names test2.txt, test3.txt, ls-lrt. Yeah. And if I want to remove these files, test1.txt, then test2.txt, then test3.txt, and then we have something in quotes, right? So dollar test.txt. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so now we are back to where we were. Now let's say you want to create a directory. So how would you create a directory? Using a command called mkdir. Mkdir, this is your source. Okay, so yeah, directory is created. Let's create a directory inside that directory. Or okay, so there are two ways. First, we can go inside that directory, and here we can create a test directory, right? So we have a test directory inside source, and if we want to figure out, you can see here, of course, I have configured it. I'll show it later. But if you want to know what path you are currently at or what's your present working directory, you just type pwd. So yeah, this is my current working path. Let's move to the directory that we have just created, right? Test. So cd test, and now let's execute the pwd command. So you see we have two paths. Earlier it was when we were at source, and now we are at dest, which we created within that source. Now imagine you are one level up, which is I'm just highlighting files to play, and you want to create a directory structure like this: source slash dest, and your starting point is files to play. How would you do that? So with mkdir, we can pass one attribute. Let me show. First, let me remove these two directories. So we earlier saw how to remove the files. Now, if you want to remove the directory, we can do rm hyphen r and do. Okay, so we are within dest, so we'll have to go one level up. Rm hyphen r dest. Okay. Now let me see. Yeah, there is nothing. Just again, let's go one level up. If you want to go one level up or change that path, you have to pass two dots and hit enter. Cd space two dots. Again, let's remove source. Okay. Now, okay, we are again back to where we were. and we have nothing now, no directories inside files to play. Now let's create, if you can see my cursor, let's create something like source slash dest, and our starting point is files to play. So we'll pass mkdir hyphen p source slash dest. So let's see if it is created. Yeah, cd source. Do we have dest also within? Yeah, we also have dest. So that's how you can create a directory inside a directory, and like the way you want from a specific starting point. This helps when you have a particular directory architecture or a particular file structure, right? So yeah, uh, I have a notepad where I had typed what I am going to show you guys. So we have covered touch, okay. Then we have covered mkdir. I know I'm not sharing my notepad, but yeah, of course, I'll add the commands and the link, or maybe just output of this at the end of this video later. Uh, so I have covered touch, I covered mkdir, where we figured out how to create a single directory or a directory with directories inside it from a specific starting point. Then we covered ls, yeah, to list the files. Then we covered cd, yes. Then we covered pwd, yes. And now, okay, touch. So just like touch, if you want to create a file, so touch is basically just to create a 0 byte file. So we want to create a file that contains data or need to have some data, so we'll use cat command. Cat, then let's just pass this arrow, and file name is file name 1.txt. This is my first file using cat. Enter by control D. Okay, so let's see if the file is created. Yeah, you can see file name 1.txt. If you want to view the content of the file as well, you can use cat command again. Sorry, cat file name.txt, file name 1.txt. So this is the content. Now, as you see, we have a dest directory inside source, right? So let's just copy this file and cover the copy command, file name 1.txt, from this location to dest. So cp file name 1.txt to dest slash. Let's see if it was copied. ls hyphen lrd. Yes. Okay. Now, one small observation. You guys must have already done it. Sorry. So the file name 1.txt within the source directory was created at 12:32, and when like we copied just after a minute, so the timestamp got changed. Now, if you want to keep or perceive the timestamp as it is while copying, we'll have to pass some attribute to it. So first, let's remove this file from dest. Do we have anything now? No. Just go one level up. As I mentioned, cd space dot dot. Okay. cp hyphen p file name. P stands for perceive or preserve. Uh, file name 1.txt to dest. Let's see now. Dest, and see, it should be 12:38. Yeah, as you see now, it's 12:38. Okay. And whatever commands we're executing and these parameters, of course I don't remember all of them. Some of them I use while I'm working, so now I've got hang of it. But if you don't know, it's absolutely fine. You can use a command called man and pass the command. Man stands for manual here. The manual for that command, if you want to see, just hit enter. Man space cp, hit enter. Okay, and you can see the parameters. So let's see where it was, hyphen p. Yeah, you see here, preserve. It's not perceive, my bad. So it's preserve. Yeah, so that's what we passed. Usually by default, so imagine a situation where you have, okay, you execute from the manual by typing Q. Imagine by default the copy operation is forceful, meaning to say, let's say you have here right now what we have. Let me just first remove this file, then I'll explain the scenario. Now, do we have anything here? No. Okay. So, so like this. So I'll just create a blank file inside dest touch file name one.txt. Okay. Now it does not have any data. Okay. I go back to source. I'll now copy the file name one.txt to dest. Yeah. So forcefully it will, even though file name is same, it will just overwrite it with the content. Let's see. Does it have the content? Cat file name one.txt. Yeah. But as you grow, as you work, you'll understand there is the concept of which files you can access, the roles, the permissions. So if the file inside a dest folder, if you don't have a permission to write or overwrite that file, then you won't be able to execute this command. Okay, so in that case, let's just assume this file has the right permission. Okay, so that's why we were able to do it. But if you don't, in that case you use command like this: cp-f file name one.txt to the destination. I'll show you. The command will execute it. So cp-f file name one.txt to dest. Yeah, it got executed. Usually it is not required. You can just use cp command. Okay. Now, let's say you have here the source and the dest directories. Within source, you have dest. Now, whatever you see now on the screen, which is file name one.txt and dest directory, let's say I want to copy it as it is inside dest. Okay. So what I'll do, cp hyphen r, and hopefully, okay, cp hyphen r. Let's first create a directory within dest. Just a minute. Sorry guys if I've confused, but I'll refresh. Don't worry. Dir test copy. Okay. So now we have a directory here called test copy. Okay. Now my goal is, okay. So I want to copy this two, right? Directories, this one directory test and file name one.txt, or the file structure of source, whatever source has, into this test.copy. How would I do that? So cp-r source. So basically what I'm trying to say, hey source, whatever you have, so it will have file name one.txt and dest. And of course, if you remember, inside dest we created a folder called test copy. So that will also get there. Just copy everything that whatever you have to this path. Usually we don't do this often, but I'm just doing it on the fly. Let's see if it works. Cannot create directory, no such file. Okay, so just wait a moment. cp-r cp cannot create. Oh, we created test copy, right? Test copy. Mm, 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 mm. Two. cp-r. Okay, so I think it should work. Let me see the manual for cp quickly. You guys can also see. So yeah, this is what you have to do in your day-to-day job. There is sometimes you remember it's good, but yeah, otherwise you can always use the manual. So copy directories recursively. Let me try to. Okay, so yeah, minus r we are going to use, right? And what is d? Okay, no, d. It should work ideally. So ls hyphen lrt cp hyphen r cp hyphen, let's say, capital R source to source test copy. Okay. So let's say you want to copy one directory within another directory. So let's just assume, let's first create, let's just go to one level up, files to play. So we have here directory called test.copy. Okay. Now, if we want to copy this directory, I'll type copy test.copy directory into source directory. Okay. How would we do this? Okay. So we'll do cp, then pass an attribute called hyphen r test.copy and mention source. Let's see if the test copy directory was created or copied inside source. Do ls. Yeah, we can see. So for time being, let me, okay, before I remove that, right, there is one more command that I wanted to show you guys. So we have, so let's say if you want to rename, a file here, file name 1.txt, you want to rename it to, let's say, file name dot 2 txt, file name 2.txt. So we use mv command. Let's see if it's renamed. Yes. If we want to rename directory, same way, test copy to test copy new. Let's see ls. Yeah, you can see test copy new. So right now let me remove. So to remove directory again. So usually when you are copying, removing or working with directories, most of the time you want to use attribute r hyphen r. So let me just remove it. Test copy new. So far we have covered touch, mkdir, cat, ls, cd, cp, and then we have pwd we have covered, mv we have covered, rm we have covered, and even how to remove directories we have covered, like using hyphen r and f stands for force. There is one more command which is rmdir, specific to remove directories. Let's see, we have any directory here, dest, or do we have any data in it? Yeah, so we have. So let's say if I do rmdir dest directory failed to remove dest. Okay, great. So yeah, this was a good example because rmdir will only work when the directory is empty. So let's just go to dest. Let's keep the error as it is, so you guys will understand. And rm whatever we have now. Do we have anything here? No. Great. Now rmdir dest. Yeah, now it's deleted. You see. So rmdir and rm-rf. So rmdir usually, not usually, only works when a directory is not empty, right? So yeah, that covers rmdir as well. Now we have, you want to know what is the time now, what is the date now. So you just type date, hit enter. So yeah, it will show you the time zone, which is UTC. Today is Sunday, Jan 12, 12:57, and year 2025. You can always configure this. But yeah, that is something that maybe we can do if we have time, or you guys can explore as an homework. Okay. And if you just want to play around the date, I think we can pass. Let's see the manual ones for a date. If you just want to display, day or a date in a specific format. So, okay, so we have to use plus. If you see here in under synopsis, let's see. I'm doing it for the first time because we usually don't. I mean, we know the date right when we are working, but plus, let's say percent y. What will okay? So it will give me here. What if I want month percent m? Yeah, correct. Nice. And what if I want date? Okay. So that's about date. Now, if you want to just see the calendar, which we can see in our Windows or Mac OS, or we can just Google and view the whole calendar. Uh, we have a command called cal. Just hit enter. You see, I can see the calendar for current year. If you want to see calendar for whole year, just cal and pass the year. Yeah. If you want to see, let's say, calendar for February 2025, just pass because February is the second month, so 2, and here is 2025. Yeah, like that. If you can see the calendars from past as well, let's say 1999. Oh, did it? I don't know. Oh, I just made a mistake, but I'm not sure if it is actually 1999. But yeah, this is how it is. If by any chance the cal command doesn't execute, you just have to install like this sudo apt install. Sudo basically tells that because we are not super user, because I'm just a user created or given permission by a root user to perform some operations. So I can install this cal library known as ncal. Sudo apt install, just install this binary on our OS. So pass the password, and yeah, since I had already installed it, and if you have it installed, it will update in case there is the newer version. So this covers cal as well. And what else remaining? So we copy. So if you want to see how much time a particular command takes while getting executed, so under source we have file name .txt. Now let's first create a directory again, dest. Okay. Now we want to copy this file name to .txt under dest, but we want to figure out how much time it takes. So just pass time and then the command. Okay. So this took this much time to execute. So that's how we can use time to understand and analyze. Then if you want to exit, it will exit the prompt. I'll not going to hit enter because I want to continue recording the videos later, and I have some work to do as well. So if you hit enter, it will exit the prompt. So that was about my first video where I've covered. I'll just give a brief and I'll try to put a notepad so you guys can understand. We covered touch, we covered mkdir, we covered cat, we covered ls, we covered cd, we covered cp, we covered pwd, we covered mv, we covered rm, we covered rmdir, we covered date, time, cal, and exit, right? And there is one more thing that I just wanted to show you guys, concept of soft link. So let's say in the cd test we have, okay, file name to.txt. So cp hyphen s, uh, right? So okay, so yeah, that's about it, guys. Okay, so there is one last concept that I wanted to show you guys, called as soft link. So currently we have this file structure. Let's go inside shell scripting A to Z. Let's see what do we have here. Okay, files to play. What do we have inside files to play? Okay, so let's say we have a file inside test copy. Let's just create for time being using touch temp.txt. So what is the path for temp.txt? It is inside shell scripting A to Z. Then we have files to play. Then we have test copy, and that's where it resides, right? So three directories above it, three, one parent, above it one parent, and above it one parent. So that's like it is. Imagine you are at your home directory, or you are at some where from where you want to access this file. So of course you'll have to navigate inside, but at times you know you are using that file frequently, so you want to save your time and don't want to navigate all the time. So what you would do is you want to make sure that you can access this file from here itself and view the content. So you would create a soft link which will point to the file that is inside that directory. Okay, so how we should achieve that? Using cp-s, then shell script. What is the path? This is the one-time activity, test copy, and we have that temp.txt, and let's say name it as temp.txt. Now let's do ls-lrt. So you see, yeah. So now let's actually navigate inside that directory, add some data into temp.txt, and let's see if it's automatically get updated and can we if we can see the data from our current path. Okay, so cd, oh sorry, cd test copy cat temp.txt. This is test cat temp.txt. Okay, so let's see, let's see cat temp.txt. This is test. So yeah, so this gets automatically updated as you can see. So yeah, this covers some basics of Linux. Now in the next video I want to go ahead with commands like grep, diff, head, sort, tail, like those. So mostly five. Again I'll repeat, so you guys can decide whether you want to see that video. I think that is going to be more interesting than this one, to be honest. So because this was just basic refresher and most of you might already know this, but still I thought let's create a series, right? So first is going to be grep, then diff, then we'll have sort, then we'll have head, and then we'll have tell. Okay, so that's about it. Thank you for keeping up with me, guys. Hopefully you practice this and improve your Linux skills. Have a good day, and let's see you in the next video, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.